About the tight nature of the game and the back and forth battle. I like it when both quarterbacks get to kind of compete and do 2 minute and the guys get to play. So that was really good from a competitive standpoint. I thought I got to see the look in some guys' eyes that they were out there competing, playing hard. That part was good, and no major injuries, which is also good. So with that, I'll open it up.
Kirby, you had like 83 pass attempts, just 32 rushes. Is that kind of way you thought it'd go? You wanted to see more of that today and not knew what you do running the ball?
It's catered around 2 minute situations, so we have last 4 minutes of both halves. You have to go 2 minutes. Therefore, you're always going to have more passes in those situations. I thought I was a little worried about the weather conditions, being able to throw the ball and wet and throwing it, let it might get sloppy, but the weather helped out and cooperated towards the end and was able to throw the ball, especially there maybe the first half. It had pretty good conditions for a little bit, less wind. So.
What do you think about all three quarterbacks along that line? Was two young guys did a good job, you know? It looked
Yeah,
like
nice job managing the game. I thought they, Dwight made a couple sloppy snaps, maybe a drop snap there. I thought Stetson did a good job. Stetson's played in that game before. So both those guys did a nice job of managing it. A lot of throwing situations. Not a lot of defenses out there as far as number of volume of defense. I mean, we scaled back that package and scaled back a lot of the offense. A lot of the new things we're doing weren't in that package today, but I was pleased with the way Stetson and the line managed, not the huddle, because we don't really huddle, but managed the game from the fields. And that's important. That's important for their growth. They're only going to get better through practicing and repping and playing in that kind of environment.
Coach, you said in past press conferences that you're looking for explosive plays on offense, havoc on the defense. What are you really looking for from the special teams unit?
Consistency. I mean, we have to find some returners, and we really don't need to evaluate that today. I thought catching the ball, which that was the objective, to catch it and possess it. We didn't do live special teams. We'll probably have to do some of that in the fall. Punt return and kickoff return. I thought that Kamara hit some good punts. I thought the field goal he hit was great, and Rod's been really consistent. So, I mean, we're looking for consistency, and we're looking to improve in some areas that we weren't great statistically in. But the number one thing we got to do is find some return men.
The emergence of Brian Herring, we've seen some highlight videos. He's been running over people today. Obviously, he did a lot of things. Where is Brian at, and what do you look for from him moving forward?
Brian's a good back. Brian's gotten better. I mean, I've seen Brian, not necessarily this spring, but I've seen him. You got to remember, he's been here for several springs. And one of those springs, he carried the ball 20, 30 times when Nick and Sony were coming back as seniors. So I've seen a lot of body of work from Brian. And he's got really good skill set of catching the ball. He's got a good understanding of our offense. And I thought he was really productive today.
I'm sure Stetson was probably far from perfect today, but when you look at the overall, you know, when he signed, when you guys signed him, obviously, you know, we have the feedback with the fans. There was some concern you're bringing back a walk-on guy. He's not very big. Was lightly recruited, but you guys brought him back because of what you saw out of him. You know, did we get to see some of that today with some of the throws he was able to make and move around in the pocket? Is that kind of why he was brought back?
Yeah, we got a lot of confidence in Stetson. I don't look at things from the perspective of what you can't do or what somebody says about you or whether you're on scholarship or not. We recruit walk-ons around here as hard as anybody in the country because I think it's important. I think our state provides us great ability to go get good football players. And some of those players develop into scholarship players. And we've had several players do that here. And Stetson's one of those guys. I mean, he went and he played good last year. I mean, he walked out of here with a scholarship in hand. And he came back with one, and I thought he played good today.
Coach Anthony with the Atlanta Boys. Can you just talk about the play of Jeremiah Holloman and just the other players you look to step up on the receiving corps as soon as the season begins in September?
JJ's had a very consistent spring. He's physical, competitive. He runs the stop routes real well. He's made a couple really good plays on the deep ball and some other practices. Today, he had a little slow start there, getting started with the offense, but he's a model of consistency. He's got really strong hands. He does some nice things. As far as playmakers, we're looking for all those guys to step up and play and do a good job. I was unfortunate Demetrius Robertson wasn't able to scrimmage. He got sick last night and wasn't able to come out there, but he's had a really good spring.
Coach, what about Matt Landers? He seemed to be very intimately involved in a lot of stuff. Obviously, had the touchdown and the long catch.
Yeah, Matt's had a good spring. I mean, Matt's level of consistency has to improve. Matt has to play to Matt's standard all the time. And we've seen flashes of really good things from Matt. We're seeing more of those flashes. But with those flashes, we've got to have him come down with some 50-50 balls. There was a couple of balls I thought he should have pulled down early and get going. he's become a better special teams player too, so he's able to contribute and been more competitive. We need Matt to step up for us.
The offensive line on the red squad, is that gonna be the number one group, you think, coming into the fall?
Here we go. Guys, we could have put any lineup out there, and those guys can't switch teams within games. So that was the number one line for that scrimmage. What they do in the off-season, what they work out like, how they do in school, how they compete in fall, there's still 2 springs left before the first game. So we have 2 more versions of what we just did before we play a game. And there's some guys that aren't here right now on the offensive line. So to say who's gonna be out there, you guys will predict all that. It's gonna come by what happens on the field for us.
Kirby, as a follow-up to the offensive line, how special could this group be, given the experience? And you know they're gonna hear a bunch of hype about how good they are. Do you think they've got the maturity? And does the competition alone for those positions help them from any kind of complacency setting in?
Sure, competition helps. I mean, we've had a great rotation. Guys have competed really hard at right guard. Cade Mays has done a great job competing over there. Right tackle's really up for grabs. I mean, both guys are competing. There's a lot of positions in there that guys continue to get better. Can it be a strength of our team? Yeah, but so can a lot of positions. I don't think that you get things off of forecasting or projections. You get them off doing it. And we gotta have them go out and play well to be a successful offense.
It seemed like the DBs were, or at least Stokes for sure, was on top of his guy a lot. Is this pretty normal for what we saw there in spring?
He's done a good job. I thought all the DBs have done a good job improving, and sometimes we win on top, sometimes we win on the low side. Sometimes it depends on the coverage or where his help is, but he certainly made a big play to start it off today. I thought that was a good fight for the ball and scored with it when he got it. He's a kid that has come a long way from a guy that really wasn't a DB coming out of high school. He was just an athlete, and he's very conscientious to doing things the right way. When you teach Stokes something, he listens and then he applies it, which when you combine that ability with talent, you've got a pretty good player.